Hi there. I just wanted to make a quick video about people that may be following me or interested in knowing how do I perform all these mass miracles around the city of Vancouver. Am I a magician, or do I have some sort of supernatural abilities or powers, or how am I doing this? And I just wanted to say I am not a mutant. I don't have any real supernatural powers or abilities. I did this. Most of these miracles occurred along Main Street and in parts of close to Chinatown, along Main Street down there. I'm not Saint Patrick. I'm not the reincarnation of Saint Patrick. I am connected to the saint. He's the patron saint that I chose to be confirmed Roman Catholic when I was younger. I understand my connection to this saint and his participation in my life. As for the excuse me, just burping here. As for the miracles that that I was performing, like 10 years back or something like that, it would seem that there's some deity or being following me, and every time I interact with my environment in front of a group of people or do something, this deity or being would perform a miracle and make it appear as if I was the one performing the miracle, which was kind of cool. It gets old after a while, but it was kind of cool to show off, and people like gasp in awe at the miracles I was performing. But it wasn't really. It's not me. I don't have any really arcane supernatural powers. Really, I'm more or less a regular guy. But they made it look like I was the one performing the miracle, and it wasn't. And so one of the miracles that a group of people saw was I did a dance, and then I jumped up and I spread my arms out, reached up at the sky, and said it's gonna rain, and it just starts raining like whoosh, like down, like as soon as I finished my dance. And that was along Main Street. And a group of people sitting waiting for a bus saw that happen, and they looked at each other like, I don't know who to call. It was pretty funny. And another time it happened when I was in walking along close to Chinatown along a convenience store. The voice, the telepath talks to me. It says, let's see you control the weather. And then they're like arguing back and forth to each other. And I just exclaimed that out because it was a voice I heard in my head, or an intrusive thought I heard in my head. And then right when I said that, it just starts raining. And then a couple times I made it, and I didn't make it, but it snowed right when I asked it to snow. And then there was the 94-day fast that was witnessed in a psychiatric facility. When they took me to the hospital, it was 40 days. I had a watery stool on day 39, close to day 40. And then after 40 days, 54 days in the hospital, I didn't defecate even once. So I'm telling the truth. If you don't defecate for 54 days, then you probably haven't eaten any solid food for a very long time. There's a lot of other miracles I performed. One night during another fast that lasted 40 days, on the 11th day of not sleeping, there was like a mist of cloud forming along the moon. And right when I looked at it, I went like this, and I went like that to the moon, just like I was like there's like this telepathic voice in my head. Like I can't explain it, but I did that at the moon, and right when I did that, the cloud just formed like a perfect triangle, and with moonlight shining right through a hole in the center of the triangle, making a perfect Masonic seal, and it looked really cool. Like it was something everyone could see. Like the cloud formed a perfect triangle with a hole right in the center, making it look like an eye, and moonlight shining through. And right when I turned away and looked back, the moon, that cloud dissipated, but it was like solid for like a full 3 seconds. So if you have cameras pointed at the moon and you record the moon or record the skies for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe you caught a glimpse of that, and that was right when I went like this with my left eye to the moon, and that was another miracle that was performed. Lots of other things that were attributed to me, paranormal, strange events that were occurring to me during my 7 years as when I lost my desire for meat and became a vegetarian in Vancouver. This obviously got a lot of attention. So I just wanted to state for the fact that I don't have any divine powers, but there really is a divine, powerful being following me, making it look like I have supernatural powers when I indeed don't have any at the current moment that I know of. And, you know, like, telepathy is definitely real. If you study linguistics and language and how people can begin to develop such a sophisticated language and how language is developed, I think you might look into how extrasensory perception that is prevalent in the human, well, maybe not in above average humans' ability to develop telepathy and communicate through without speaking. So, but just look into it. But it's definitely something that I believe to be real, telepathy. And then you might be thinking, oh, well, I'm not a very nice person or something like that. Yeah, telepath. If you have this power, if you're not able to turn it off, it's not a power you want, because it's not very flattering to hear people's thoughts. They're probably thinking things like, oh, this guy, I don't like this guy, or he's ugly, or whatever. And, it'll just be depressing to have this power. Unless you also have a power like the ability to manipulate light, and you can, but even then, you'll be hearing all types of thoughts. If you can't turn it off, it's not a good power to have. Psychiatry has studied the brain, its ability to boost telepathy and to mute it. I'm sure that there's people in this field of study that know that I'm telling the truth, and they're capable of boosting a person's telepathy or absolutely muting it. Which, if you had to choose between not being able to turn it off or turn it on, you'd want it to be turned off. But you have to be a very understanding person to be a telepath. And usually people are thinking more than one thing at once. They'll be thinking something on their left and on their right. And just, you just have to be able to be very understanding, very forgiving person, and just know that these thoughts also cross your mind at times. And it's nothing weird or wrong about it. And sometimes it's scary to know that someone wants to pound your head in with their fists, or like strangle you to death or something like that. And you just don't want to go out into the community when you're hearing people thinking these things. It can be kind of scary, but sometimes people think of those things, but they don't act on those impulses. So definitely had some interaction with a being that I would identify as either a spirit, some external force, either a spirit or a telepath, or maybe even both. But it was very interesting, and I just wanted to clarify, I am not a supernatural being with these powers. I grew up a pretty normal person, above average card player. Maybe I did some illicit drugs that might have unlocked certain precognitive abilities or telepathy. Not very, like, my telepathy is not that strong. Everyone has telepathy, even as a baby. You discerned this whole language, you decoded it, you were able to manipulate air into sound, and then so as a babies are telepathic in a sense, in their ability to discern what we're thinking. And you'd have to be you'd have to be an expert in this field to be able to comment on it intelligently, which I'm not. So if you want to know how these miracles are being performed, that real answer to that question is I don't know. And someone is following me, showing me why you should keep your anonymity, never reveal yourself to the society, and how you could end up getting crucified for revealing yourself as someone responsible for these miracles. Because there's crazy people out there, and people get jealous, people get mad that you're proving to them that there's something beyond their control or they don't understand, and people that want to follow you and want to some people want to know how you did it or think there's some magic they can learn. So definitely not something you should do is perform miracles in front of people, unless you're trying to, for certain people, unless that person is someone you think should believe or you want them to believe for whatever reason. More often than not, it doesn't do anything for a skeptical mind, because a skeptical person will think that there's some logical explanation behind this miracle, or that you're just crazy, or they were crazy, and they'll go to a doctor and get pills, and it doesn't do anything for a skeptical person. But in the case of Jesus and the miracles he performed, he's just trying to shine a light on a very dark planet, and just kind of share, try to teach people to believe and believe in him, not so much his miracles, but believe in him as a savior and a Messiah. So that's probably why Jesus would do those things. But I think after getting crucified, we can all agree that that's probably not something he'll ever give us the opportunity to reveal himself again in his godlike form, but perhaps something that he chose to do as a mortal in his mortal form. So, and we will discuss around Easter time the three temptations and why Jesus got crucified, or how does someone innocent, a good person, get crucified that way. And I don't want to discuss that too much right now. I don't want to get the wrong impression, but there really is a reason and a karmical attribute to why Jesus was crucified, which I don't want to get into right now. But that's just the way it works. That's how magic works. Okay, I'll get into it right now. That's just how magic works. Go around healing people. There really is a force that I would say isn't negative or evil, but everything comes at a price. If you're performing magic in this way and you're healing people, these people, the blind man that he healed and all these people they brought back to life and all that, that type of magic, that will come at a price. That'll come at a cost, and that's most likely the reason why Jesus was crucified. Because you'll say, well, that was something good that he did. Shouldn't he inherit good karma? That's not the way karma works sometimes. Those people deserve to suffer for whatever reason for the sins that they committed in their lives or their past lives or past existences. Jesus bore the brunt of their sins and healed them, so he has to pay the price. Now, if you're a doctor saying, oh, well, I heal people on a regular day basis, you know what I'm talking about. You know that if you're not very selective about who you heal or what you're doing, bad things happen to you for whatever reason for healing people that brought their illness and their suffering is brought on by the evil things that they've done in this community. So, but nothing to be afraid of. I mean, we can be in a win-win situation here. I'm not dissuading people from healing other people, but definitely a person that heals people, that will definitely come at a price. It's not something that just that you can just do and then no one pays the price for that. That magic comes at a price. So if you ask why isn't Jesus going around healing people in wheelchairs? Well, that would just be his existence. Every minute or so, someone ends up in a wheelchair. So you expect this guy to just stand there and just stand. That's his job all day, healing people in wheelchairs. That's his existence. Why doesn't he snap his fingers and heal them all? Because they probably, well, I don't want to say that they did something wrong, but it's most likely that it's the result of something that they did wrong. Not necessarily wrong, but just you shouldn't have sex here, if you want to stay out of a wheelchair. And but if you're wheelchair bound, I mean, there could be reasons for that. But I don't want to get too into this, but that really is how this magic kind of works sometimes. Okay, so I'm not the one performing these miracles. I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything wrong necessarily to do this. So just know that it's not me. It's someone following me and performing the miracles, making it appear like it's me, but it's not me. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Have a good night, Vancouver. Bye.